It's not for water. I call to order and open this public hearing on the water and sewer rate change as submitted in the ordinance that we will be reviewing this evening. Russ, do you want to lead us through this?
Well, I was just going to ask at this point if anybody has any comments. Our typical public forum rules are going to apply with 5 minutes. So if you have anything you want to say, come to the lectern, pro or against. Come to the lectern and now's your chance. And otherwise, we'll close the meeting at whenever the mayor deems appropriate. I think we'll wait 15 minutes. Yeah, that's where we're at. We can all look at each other.
Is there anyone in attendance that would like to speak or ask questions in regards to the proposed ordinance? Yeah, that's just our sign-in sheet.
And what's been passed around is just a sign-up sheet. We're going to submit that with the information that we have, and just to show that we had a public meeting and that folks attended and everybody was given the opportunity to speak. And
Bob, everybody likes Bob. So we'll give it a couple minutes in case anybody else shows up.
or
10
5.
minutes, yeah, 5. Because then we'll just go into our regular meeting, I suppose. The purpose of the hearing tonight and what will follow on the council agenda is to deal with and put out information regarding the proposed rate changes. As we read in the ordinance last council meeting, the city is undergoing a very extensive plan to upgrade water and sewer throughout the city. This is something that has been literally in the decades of creating this kind of situation where now we have to address it. We can no longer kick the can down the road and pass it to a future administration, but we need to address it so that our residents and businesses have resources in the way of water and sewer throughout our community. It's been 10 years, 12 years. 12 years since the last rate increase was included. Part of the funding that is going to be available for this, we've applied for some grants and potential earmarks, but we also have to address our rates. Our rates are so low that the city of Vienna does not qualify for any type of state assistance in the way of low interest loans or bonds. Even after our rate increases, we will still be, in our immediate area, we will still be the lowest when it comes to utility costs. And at the end of it, even once we enact the 3-phase over 3 years rate increase, we will still be in the lowest of tier when it comes to the entire state of West Virginia. And we work very hard to keep it that way in the way of managing our resources and trying to keep our costs as low as we can. So tonight is during the council meeting will be the second reading of that ordinance that will enact both those sewer and water rate increases. Anybody still want to say anything? No? Yeah?
Just stand up at the podium?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you would, introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Name is Daniel Miller, living 2007 17th Avenue, Vienna. Didn't really have much in the way of questions. I just wanted to comment and mention how it's actually pretty great how transparent everything has been with this whole process. It's been discussed about costs, where you're getting the money from, the need for the adjustment, and overall, I think it's very fair to be able to have this incremental increase in cost. It's not going to be a huge jump that people are going to find it hurts their pocketbooks. And I just want to say that, it's really good to make sure that we're keeping our community safe and keeping things updated. And I'm looking forward to future endeavors where this continues to be the focus.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call. If there's no other comments, or you got anything else?
No, I don't have anything.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Do we have a second? Do we have a motion and a second? Any other discussion?
There's going to be a motion.
Let's poll. Yeah, we'll poll it because Jim's on the phone. Yeah, yes, please. Recorder, if you will, poll the council.
Councilman Dietzler.
Yes.
Yes. Councilman Leach.
Yeah.
Councilman Morrison.
Yes.
Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes. Yes. Councilman Sassen.
Yes.
And I said yes.
Motion passes unanimously, and this public hearing is closed
At 6:07.
at 6:07.
Now on to the regularly scheduled portion of tonight's program.
All right. That's it. Stand with me. Councilman Sassen, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council. Having taken roll and having a quorum, we will proceed. The first two items that we are addressing are proclamations for Fair Housing Month and the proclamation for Arbor Day. You have me, you want to read? Okay.
For Fair Housing Month, whereas April marks the anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which sought to eliminate discrimination in housing opportunities and to affirmatively further housing choices for all Americans. And whereas the ongoing struggle for dignity in housing opportunity for all is not the exclusive province of the federal government. And whereas vigorous local efforts to combat discrimination can be as effective, if not more so, than federal efforts. And whereas illegal barriers to equal opportunity in housing, no matter how subtle, diminish the rights of all. Now therefore be it resolved that in the pursuit of the shared goal and responsibility of providing equal housing opportunities for all men and women, the City of Vienna, West Virginia, does hereby join in the national celebration of the 58th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act by proclaiming April 26th as Fair Housing Month, and encourages all agencies, institutions, and individuals, public and private, in the City of Vienna, West Virginia, to abide by the letter and the spirit of the Fair Housing Law.
I have signed, and I'll pass to you. Thank you. Next.
Next is the Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate our temperatures, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, now therefore I, the city attorney speaking for Chad Emmerich, mayor of the city of Vienna. Oh, did I hang up on Jim? Do hereby proclaim April 23rd, 2026 as Arbor Day in the city of Vienna and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, the mayor urges all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
You're gonna call Jim back?
Yeah.
Is he there? You sure you hung up on?
No, I'm
Oh,
sure.
you hung up on him.
I touched it. Sorry.
Sign this day.
23rd day of April. And for the next two ordinances, I would just suggest reading by title unless there's some request to read them in full, and they are quite lengthy.
I agree.
We did not have anyone sign up for the regular public forum. The minutes from the regular council meeting on 4/9/26 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
In addition to the 4/21/26 special council meeting.
Oh, I see that. Thank you. Are there any comments, or if not, the minutes stand as posted. There is no unfinished business that we've had, and we hope.
Yes, there are two.
Yeah, we have two unfinished.
Oh, there. If I could only read, that would be great.
We got them out of order.
Yeah, I think we got out of order this evening. We do have a couple of things on the unfinished business. The first of which was our public hearing that we conducted at 6. The second and third, or the second readings of both public, water and sewer. Do you want to read those by title?
Yes. Let me scroll. The first is an ordinance proposing the construction of, let's not touch the phone, an ordinance proposing the construction of water improvement projects for the city's water system and proposing a 3-step increase in water rates, fees, and charges. That's the title.
That's the title.
I'm assuming you want to go in order of how they appear on the agenda, or you want me to just do both of them?
I would just do both of them.
Okay. And
We have to do a separate motion on each one, right?
that's the way it's
I
written.
think that's how.
That's the way it's written on the agenda.
So we had something to do.
So we need to make a motion.
Do I have a motion to accept the ordinance on second reading? I have a first, a second, and a third. Maybe fourth. Having a motion and a second, open for discussion. No discussion? Having a motion and a second, and no further discussion, we'll call for the vote, yes, and you will please poll the council.
Thank you. Councilman Diesler? Yes. Councilman Leach?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Mayor Emmerich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes? Sorry. Councilman Sassen?
Yes.
Recorder Smith? Yes.
Ordinance on second reading passes unanimously.
Sorry, I went past it. The second, or agenda item number 3, is an ordinance proposing the construction of sewer improvement projects for the city's sewer system and proposing a 3-step increase in sewer rates, fees, and charges.
Do I have a motion to accept on second reading the ordinance?
Motion. Second.
Did you get that? Yep. Have a motion and a second, open for discussion.
For the waste water and drainage and all that stuff, and the funds that are going towards Pond Road, can we somehow have into our budget going forward that we do a cleanup of Ponds Run, at least on an annual basis, where it should be cheap instead of waiting for 15 or 20 years or 25 years for everything to build back up?
That's a separate issue.
No, I know, but can we address that somehow? Because that ought to be part, I know what we have here on the table, but as a city, we shouldn't let things get out of hand like that.
Completely agree. However, that's a
So can
separate.
we add that to a future run, to a future meeting to make sure we have that taken care of? Thanks.
Yeah.
That comes out of stormwater department. If you wish to, we've been working on the budget and stormwater issue about rate increase on commercial accounts. So that should help that out. You can budget that in the stormwater department.
But that's not an item of discussion on this, so that's.
Not on this, but separate item.
And
But we need to think about it.
just so we're all clear, there are essentially, well, in the city of Vienna, there's essentially three funds. Sorry, there's the enterprise fund, the general fund, and we have a stormwater fund. And we have a couple of other minor funds, but generally speaking, most cities have two, enterprise and general. You can't take money out of the general to fund the enterprise, you can't take money out of the enterprise and use it in the general. Right now with water and sewer, we're not doing anything with that money to deal with projects like Pond Run. That's gonna come out of the separate stormwater agenda or stormwater budget, and then any budget that's set, any monies that are set aside by, the soil conservation fund? I can't remember what that is. I can't remember if that's it or not.
No longer functional.
Okay, that doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, it's all gonna come out of the stormwater fund and then however else we can pull money for it. Completely separate issue from water and sewer.
Any other discussion on the ordinance pertaining to sewer rates? Having none, if you'll poll the council.
I'm getting all my notes, all my stuff right now. Councilman Diesler,
Yes.
Councilman Leach,
Yes.
Councilman Morrison,
Yes.
Mayor Emery,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes, Councilman Sassen,
Yes.
Recorder Smith, yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Now that we have completed our unfinished business, we will then now move on to new business. Mr. Skogshead.
All right. I'll just read the whole thing. I apologize.
Do you want it?
No, I've got it. It's right here. This is a resolution authorizing the city of Vienna to participate in the 6 remnant defendants' national opioid settlement and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents. Whereas a national opioid settlement, the remnants defendants settlement, has been reached with 6 regional distributors, dispensers, defendants, namely Associated Pharmacies, Inc. and American Associated Pharmacies, J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., Morris and Dixon Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., and United Natural Foods, Inc., including its subsidiaries, SuperValue and Advantage Logistics, collectively known as the 6 remnant defendants. And whereas the city of Vienna, West Virginia is an eligible entity under the terms of the remnant defendant settlement and is entitled to participate in the distribution of settlement funds, and whereas participation in the remnant defendant settlement requires that the city affirmatively elect to opt in by executing and submitting a combined subdivision participation and release form, and whereas failure to opt in results in no share of the settlement proceeds. Whereas the funds distributed incident to this agreement must be used for approved opioid abatement strategies, whereas participation in the remnant defendant settlement will permit the city to receive a one-time allocation of settlement funds, if they are made available, to be used for approved opioid abatement purposes, and whereas council finds that participation in the remnant defendant settlement is in the best interest of the city and its residents, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna, West Virginia, as follows. 1, the election to participate. The City of Vienna hereby elects to opt in and participate in the remnants defendants settlement. 2, authorization of the mayor. The mayor or his designee is hereby authorized and directed to execute the combined subdivision participation and release form and all other documents necessary to effectuate the city's participation in the remnant defendants settlement, including submission by a DocuSign or the Rubris platform portal. 3, further actions. The mayor and any appropriate city officials are authorized to take such further actions as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the intent and purposes of this resolution. Effective date, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Hopefully that wasn't the abbreviated version of it. But thank you for getting through all that. Having heard the resolution, do I have a motion to accept? I have a motion and a second. Open for discussion.
And I realize this is probably an unanswerable question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do we have any idea as far as a time frame when we might receive these monies or?
I don't have an amount. I don't have a time frame. I just have that right now we're electing to opt into the participation part of that, are opting in if we do choose so, if the city chooses so, will affect what the potential payouts for and the dates. So until everybody signs up, they don't know how much it's gonna be divided up.
That's all I have, thank you.
If anything.
They may not produce anything. This is just getting us into the program.
Well, if it does produce something, then should we have an agreement as to down the road as to what that money can be spent on?
It would fall under the same as
We already have a line item that's set up for the opioid settlement funds. This would go into that. The difference is we're gonna have a set dollar amount, whatever it is, if any, that will have terms and conditions that are gonna be unique to this particular settlement on how we can dispense of it. So what could happen is we could have one giant pot with multiple sets of rules on how you can spend X amount of dollars from the giant pot or the pot. Y rules for how to spend that amount, and Z rules for what.
This document actually has a section of priorities and spending, and lists treatment and recovery as the two top priorities, and there's a lot of information in that.
And it's a lot more restrictive and clear than what the previous settlements were.
Any other discussion? Mr. Smith, if you poll the council. Are you ready? You're still writing.
Councilman Diesler.
I will abstain because I was an attorney on the original settlement, and it would probably appear improper for me to vote on something that appears to provide fees, although I don't really see the direct correlation there. Just to make it abundantly safe, I will abstain.
Thank you. Councilman Leach.
Yeah.
Councilman Morrison.
Yes.
Marion Rick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilman Sassen.
Yes.
And Recorder Smith says yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 2 on the new business.
Lastly, on our agenda, this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to expend up to $25,000 in the McGuffey 10 online auction. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that the mayor is hereby authorized to expend up to $25,000 for the purchase of goods and/or equipment through the McGuffey 10 online auction, provided that all such expenditures comply with the applicable laws, ordinances, and purchasing requirements of the City of Vienna and the State of West Virginia. Be it further resolved, the mayor is authorized to execute any documents and take any actions necessary to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Having heard the resolution, do I have a motion to accept? I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, open for discussion. Mr. Sassen.
What is this for?
As it's been widely publicized, McGuffey Tents is going out of business. The City of Vienna has, we use every year this service to support everything from Veterans Day to Christmas to our summer programs, the ice cream social, you name it. This is the entity that we have historically and always used for those services. He is closing. Andy is retiring, well deserved, and they're auctioning off all of their equipment. Once McGuffey's Tents close and is no longer in the City of Vienna or anywhere close, our nearest locations are Columbus, Cincinnati, and Huntington, to be able to try to rent tents and or chairs. The intent of this is to be able to identify what we use typically what we've used throughout the year, and if we can affordably purchase it from McGuffey during their auction, we would purchase it, then we would have it and no longer have to outsource or try to find it. When we've compared the current prices to what McGuffey charges compared to those new companies, it is incredibly much more expensive. So that's the intent.
Okay, so being a Boy Scout and running into the issue with tents and somebody doesn't properly prep them for storage and stuff, one, we gotta make sure we do that, and two, where are we gonna keep this stuff?
Craig's giving up his office.
So that's fine.
Well, I mean, these things are big. I mean, you gotta think about, you get moisture, they're gonna rot, you don't wanna do that, so you really gotta think it through.
Craig and Public Works and Parks, and when we built the new facility this past year, have done a really good job of going through, cleaning and organizing additional space as we had. Because when we built those, it gave us the opportunity to, instead of having everything crammed in, we were able to go in, dedicate certain spaces and various storage. We stopped renting, the park stopped renting storage space that we had been expending funds on, and it opened up a lot of space in that sense. I've talked to Craig and with Jack Mathers, and we believe we've identified enough space to be able to accommodate the stuff that we would purchase and be able to use then after that. Any comments on that?
No, you're exactly right. When we did those at 60th Street, we allowed for additional growth. And that's where we're at. We
just didn't know that we're gonna need it quite this quickly, right?
Yeah.
So it will be properly stored. There is dry, clean, usable space for these to go in that mirror almost the kind of same space that they're already stored in as far as conditions. And it'll be our responsibility to maintain them and take care of them, which we do a good job with the rest of our city equipment, so I don't have any reason to believe that we wouldn't with this. Yes?
We went 25,000 on this. I'm assuming that was an arbitrary number.
So 25,000 is the cap amount that we can spend without having to go out to bid. We can't go out to bid on this because we're wanting to bid on items. So this is our single purchase limit that we're authorized to make, and that's what caps us out. Because there's no real other way to do it.
And I think that the mayor recognizes that probably spending $50,000 on tents is probably something that we don't need to do. And this was a good number to put a ceiling. It also keeps us as close. So when we buy things, we sell things at auction, and that's easy, right? You guys just approve the list. So when we buy things at auction, our purchasing policy, up to, what's the dollar amount for open market now? $2,500. We've changed it 3 times.
Well, without having to get
without having to get a
two
prices. Yeah, $2,000. So anything up to $2,000, you can just go to the store and buy it. Anything from $2,001 to $25,000, you need to get 3 prices. Anything over to $25,000, you have to put out for bid. Well, this is obviously something you can't put out for bid. I mean, you could, I guess, put out for bid for tents. So we've done this in the past this way, where we give the mayor a set dollar amount that he can spend, and we did particularly. This is atypical of this happening anyway. But in the past, when we've done it, it's been for real estate. Real estate's a unique property. You can't go out and find 3 similar parcels of property because every parcel of property is unique in and of itself. So what we do this way is we put a dollar amount, puts a limit on how much the city is willing to spend on these. It allows the mayor the ability to go in and auction and buy items. You're never going to know exactly, well, I suppose in some auctions you could, but you're not going to know what the costs are going to be. So you need to go in obviously with a rough idea of what a used tent, I don't even know what size it would be, 10 foot by 10 foot by whatever, 8-foot tent is going to cost, and try to keep your price under that. But beyond that, this is the best way that I can think of that allows the city to participate in buying items at auction, that keeps it in accord with our purchasing procedure and doesn't prevent the city from having the benefit of taking the opportunity of buying things from an auction, because you don't want to cut off a market to get items just because it doesn't, you can't get 3 prices for those items. So that's the best explanation I can give.
And we know what we use and what we have used historically through the year. This is not a goal in the sense of, oh, I've got X amount of dollars and we just keep buying. We're intent simply just to get the things that we need and we support, not the, oh, that would be nice to have. It's to get what we need so we can continue to support our community events as a whole. The end desire would be not to even get close to this, but we've got no idea what that auction's going to do, and we are hopeful that we can get everything we need, or at least the biggest chunk of it, to be able to sustain us throughout the year for our events.
And it keeps us from going down and buying everything and spending $100,000, right?
We're trying to do it as cheaply as we can, while still meeting the needs of the city. Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, Mr. Smith, if you would.
Councilman Diesler,
Yes.
Councilman Leach,
Yeah.
Councilman Morrison,
Yes.
Mayor Emmerich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes, Councilman Sasser, and I vote yes.
Motion passes, the resolution passes unanimously. That is all of the regular business that we have on the agenda this evening. Moving now on to reports, standing boards, and/or committees. Tammy, I know you have some.
Yes, the planning commission meets next Monday at 5:30 here. The only thing on the agenda, someone from WBUP will be making a presentation in order to rezone that property. And then after that, it'll come to council for approval. So anyone that wants to attend that's interested in that, I urge you to do so.
Mr. Sassen?
The main budget and finance committee meeting date is set. First week of May is not gonna work, so Rodney, is that something you wanna get back to us on?
So May 5th is not good, and
May
May
5th
12th
is
is
not
good.
good, May 12th works.
May 12th is good,
Okay, so,
5:30.
at 4:30.
No, two different
Two
meetings.
different meetings.
two different meetings,
Sorry.
budget and finance, 4:00.
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Who's on first? No, what? What's on second?
Budget finance at 4 o'clock, correct?
On the 12th,
May 12th.
then council chambers.
And then 5:30 for the planning commission on Monday in council chamber.
He said that in his dad.
Correct.
That's on the 11th.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything as far as boards and committees and or reports?
27th.
Yes.
And we have council comments. Yeah, you look like you were gonna say something.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, just briefly mention the water and sewer rates. I think there was, it's definitely a higher hike than what I think a lot of us want to see in such a short period of time, but it's because it was neglected for so long. Moving forward, I think it's important that we take a look at this as mayor and council in the future and try and figure out a way that increase this, steadily over time, as opposed to the big jumps that we've had to do to make up for the lack of increase over time. So I'm very thankful for all the work that Craig and Mike have put in behind the scenes and getting all of this prepared and all of the reports and everything that's had to go into it. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the new infrastructure go in and the new bike trail.
Oh, straight to your house, my friend. Harry, you got anything? We want to remind everybody that this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department, the police are conducting a drug take-back. So if you've got old prescriptions or anything that you want to dispose of, and you want to dispose of them safely, they'll take whatever medications you need to get rid of that you don't know what else to do. That's from 10 to 2 at the Vienna Fire Department, and it will be conducted by the police station or the police department to be able to safely dispose of those. Henry, did you have something?
Yeah, this past Sunday, it was early afternoon, had a bunch of cop cars fly by, paramedics fly by, and there was a kid that got hurt on an electric scooter, electric bike. We talked about that the other day. So, the kids are out in force. There's been a couple times where I got a hold of Chief Powell and let him know, and I let Chad know, and there was like 13 or 14 of them riding straight up Grand Central towards 55th Street. They come flying off the side roads, not stopping at the stop signs. I mean, the kid that, my understanding, wasn't hurt too bad on Sunday. But we gotta be careful. I mean, something's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be good.
We came across those, or found that little group on 60th Street, and I stopped, and we, I addressed them, I told them who I was, and I told them, I said, first of all, let me tell you, I appreciate they all had on helmets. All of them did have on helmets, and I said, I don't know if this is your group or another group that's running around, but I just got word that there was a group running on Grand Central, and I said, we're trying to accommodate and do all these things. I need everybody to wear helmets. I need everybody to stop at stop signs, and we can't have you going up and down Grand Central, is what I told them. When we enacted the scooter ordinance a couple of months ago, the city purchased, as part of the summer scooter safety program that I actually just talked to Chief Cole about today. And I have taken time on the weekends to kind of roll around like the mall cop throughout the community. And we've stopped, and it's been a good opportunity because they see you, you're on the Segway, and I say Segway, it's a scooter, not the side-by-side Segway. And I reinforce with them the importance of looking both ways, don't run, across through traffic, wear helmets, be safe. This is electric scooters and electric bikes. This isn't going to go away. It is going to be there. So what we have to do is to continue to educate. And the conversation that, and it's good that you brought it up, the conversation that I had with Chief Cole today is that we would put together, or that they would finish putting together a summer safety program to go over with the school kids, with our RSOs on, what's permitted, what's not permitted, the safety of helmets and safety of gear. And I have noticed, and he even told me today, that he has noticed an uptick on kids wearing helmets. I have only seen one kiddo that I stopped, and it was actually just right here at Spencer's Park, and he lives fairly close to it. And I said, "Are you over 15?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "No, you're not, because I know your grandmother." He said, "Yeah, I'm not." And I told him, I said, you need to have a helmet on when you ride this. And he said, "I don't have a helmet." Well, we need to work on getting you a helmet. So we're trying to stress this, and we're trying to do it in such a way that we can educate. So if you see me running around town on this scooter, don't laugh and point too bad, because you can't look cool, I suppose. But let's take time to educate and try to educate kiddos so they can be as safe as they can. And we're very hopeful that the summer safety program that the Vienna Police Department puts together and enacts will be beneficial to the whole community. Harry?
The only way we're really going to solve this is to come up with a substantial fine for the parents that allow it.
I agree.
And if we do that, we will save a child's life.
And we've addressed that, and looking at, what the resources are. These kids are here and going, and we have a limited amount of, police presence on a daily basis, and they're obviously taking care of a lot of issues throughout the city. So, we're taking steps, we're making achievements, and we're hopeful that we'll continue to gain ground in the future with this. Are you volunteering to be the?
No, we got another topic.
Okay.
Same area type concept. In the next publication of the Vienna newsletter, you ought to stress about the golf cart safety too, because there's people driving around with little kids, no straps, no helmets, no nothing. It's once the weather start warming up, they're out in full force. Just as a reminder. Because there was a thing on the news last night with Belper.
Yeah, with Belgrade. They're enacting some different things.
I know, but that's what brought it to mind from last night.
Any other council comments? Go ahead. Oh,
You want to go ahead? Okay, thank you. I'd like to acknowledge we have some students in attendance tonight. They're taking notes for school credit, so if you students will stand up. Don't put you on the spot, just stand up. So thank you for coming in and seeing how businesses ran. So appreciate it.
or at least seeing how we run it, you know.
Bill, VHS?
No, college.
Well, you're college, like, I'm getting old like you, everybody's like.
Everybody gets young. If, and you're at what school?
WBP.
The VVP?
WB.
Well, it's very nice to have you with us this evening as we go through this. Not all councils function in this fashion, just us, I guess. I do things in a very informal fashion, and I'm very blessed and very lucky that I have men and women that serve on the council that are willing to work together, to hear one another, and to be able to meet the needs of our city. So thank you for being here. I hope that you have taken something tonight. And if you have any questions on how municipal government runs, I will be more than happy to hang out and answer any of your questions afterwards.
Thank you.
I'd just like to go back to the drug take back day. It's great that they have that. It's really publicized and it's always very effective. But I don't know that everyone knows that the police station in the entry has like a post office box that's for drug take back, and that can be any day, anytime. Someone that has a house to clean out or unused medications they quit can drop that off. And I don't know how to get the word out about that because people don't really know that. So they have a whole ton of medication that can be dangerous.
We can
laying around
post
their house.
and publicize them.
Yeah, because it's really a good thing that they have that. Thank you.
And it's not just the police department, the hospital has a thing in the entryway there too where you can drop off meds.
Very good.
Put it in the newsletter.
Jim, you got anything?
No, I appreciate you guys letting me attend this way.
Absolutely.
Good luck on the auction.
Hey, we're gonna try.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity. But otherwise, no, thanks you guys.
Lastly, if you come back and there are any circus tents, and they have any tiny elephants, tiny horses, or any other tiny animals, city attorney has dibs on those.
Here you go. All right, if there's nothing else, this meeting stands adjourned.
Is it us? I thought you were going to call it a beer tent.